fire to start. But whether that bonfire actually ignites and how intensely it burns depends on a whole bunch of other factors. Your environment, your experiences, the choices you make. Our childhoods, those formative years filled with scraped knees, first heartbreaks, and enough juice boxes to fuel a rocket ship. But childhood isn't all sunshine and rainbows, is it? Sometimes it's the stage where the seeds of anxiety are unknowingly sown. Think about it. Children are like sponges, absorbing everything around them. If a child grows up in an environment where they're constantly exposed to stress, conflict, or trauma, it can leave an imprint on their developing brains. Imagine a young sapling constantly battered by strong winds. Similarly, experiencing things like parental separation, bullying, or emotional neglect in childhood can make individuals more susceptible to anxiety later in life. These early experiences can teach us that the world is an unsafe place, that we're not good enough, or that we can't rely on others for support. Let's be real, life in the 21st century can feel like a never-ending race against time, a constant juggling act of deadlines, responsibilities, and that nagging feeling that we're not doing enough. And you know what? Our bodies and minds weren't designed for this constant state of go, go, go. When we're chronically stressed, dealing with work pressures, financial strain, relationship issues, or any other prolonged source of anxiety, our bodies go into overdrive. It's like that fight or flight response that helped our ancestors outrun saber-toothed tigers is stuck on a permanent loop. But here's the thing, our bodies can only handle so much before they start waving the white flag. Chronic stress takes a toll, depleting our energy reserves, weakening our immune systems, and yes, making us more vulnerable to anxiety. Imagine a rubber band being stretched tighter and tighter. Eventually, it reaches a breaking point. All right, let's get a little scientific for a moment and venture into the fascinating world of brain chemistry. Our brains are incredibly complex organs, a symphony of electrical impulses and chemical messengers that orchestrate everything we think, feel, and do. And when it comes to anxiety, there are a few key players in this chemical orchestra that deserve a standing ovation, or maybe a stern talking to, depending on how they're behaving. One of these VIPs is a neurotransmitter called serotonin. You might have heard of it. It's often dubbed the happy chemical because it plays a crucial role in regulating mood, sleep, and even digestion. But when serotonin levels are low or out of whack, it can make us more susceptible to anxiety and depression. Another important neurotransmitter is GABA, or gamma-aminobutyric acid, if you want to get technical. GABA acts like a calming agent in the brain, putting the brakes on those racing thoughts and anxious feelings. Social media, the highlight reel of our lives, a curated collection of perfectly filtered photos, witty captions, and seemingly effortless achievements. It's a place to connect, share, and let's be honest, sometimes compare ourselves to others, often to our own detriment. Social media has this sneaky way of distorting our perception of reality. We scroll through our feeds and see everyone else living their best lives, going on exotic vacations, rocking perfect outfits, and achieving hash goals left and right. And it's easy to feel like we're falling short. This constant exposure to the highlight reels of others can fuel something called fear of missing out, or FOMO, which can contribute to anxiety and feelings of inadequacy. We start questioning our own choices, our own accomplishments, and that little voice in our head starts whispering, why aren't I doing that? Or why don't I look like that? Life is full of surprises, isn't it? Some are good, like winning the lottery or that unexpected job offer you thought you had no chance of getting. But then there are the curveballs, the plot twists we never saw coming that can leave us feeling anxious, uncertain, and a little bit like the rug's been pulled out from under us. Major life changes, even the positive ones, can be significant stressors that trigger anxiety. Think about it. Graduating from college, starting a new job, moving to a new city, getting married, having a baby. These are all huge milestones that require us to adapt, adjust, and often step outside our comfort zones. And while change can be a good thing, even exciting, it also disrupts our routines, challenges our sense of control, and forces us to confront the unknown. Our brains crave predictability, and when that predictability is thrown off kilter by major life changes, it's natural for anxiety to creep in. Let's talk about sleep, shall we? Or rather, the lack thereof. We all know that getting enough sleep is crucial for our physical and mental well-being. But in our fast-paced, always-on world, sleep often gets pushed to the bottom of the to-do list. When we sleep, our bodies and minds get a chance to rest, recharge, and process the events of the day. It's like hitting the reset button, allowing us to wake up feeling refreshed and ready to tackle whatever the day throws our way. But when we consistently don't get enough sleep, it disrupts this delicate balance. Imagine your brain as a computer running multiple programs simultaneously. Eventually, the computer starts to slow down, right? It might even freeze or crash. Similarly, when we're sleep deprived, our brains don't function at their best. Our cognitive abilities decline, we become more irritable, and our emotional resilience takes a nosedive. You know the saying, you are what you eat? Well, it turns out there's a lot of truth to that, especially when it comes to anxiety. The food we fuel our bodies with can have a profound impact on our mental health, influencing everything from our mood to our ability to cope with stress. Just like a car needs the right type of fuel to run smoothly, our brains rely on a steady supply of vitamins, minerals, and other essential nutrients to keep those neurotransmitters firing and those mood-regulating systems in check. When we nourish our bodies with a balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins, we're essentially giving our brains the premium fuel they need to thrive. We all know that exercise is good for our bodies. It helps us maintain a healthy weight, strengthens our muscles, and reduces our risk of chronic diseases. But did you know that exercise is also incredibly beneficial for our mental health, particularly when it comes to managing anxiety? When we engage in physical activity, our brains release endorphins, those feel-good chemicals that have mood-boosting and pain-relieving effects. Think of endorphins as natural antidepressants. They help to reduce feelings of stress and anxiety, leaving you feeling more relaxed and positive. Regular physical activity can actually help to rewire our brains, making us more resilient to stress and anxiety in the long run. Let's talk about substance abuse, a topic that's often stigmatized but incredibly important to address, especially in the context of anxiety. We often associate substance abuse with drugs and alcohol, but it can also include the misuse of prescription medications, caffeine, and even nicotine. Now, it might seem counterintuitive, but people often turn to substances as a way to cope with anxiety. Think about it. Alcohol is a depressant, so it can temporarily numb those anxious feelings and provide a sense of relaxation. However, and this is a big however, using substances to manage anxiety is like putting a band-aid on a bullet wound. It might provide temporary relief, but it doesn't address the underlying issue and can actually make things worse in the long run. Substance abuse can create a vicious cycle of dependence. As tolerance builds, people often need to consume more of the substance to achieve the desired effect. Well, there you have it, folks. 10 surprising reasons why anxiety might be playing a starring role in your life. From the genes we inherit, to the screens we scroll, the choices we make, and the way we fuel our bodies and minds, so many factors contribute to this complex emotion. Thanks for sticking with me on this journey through the world of anxiety. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and share it with anyone who might benefit from understanding anxiety a little better. Remember, knowledge is power, and understanding the reasons behind our anxiety is the first step towards managing it effectively. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.